Old Lady by the Lake has been a gracious host. It's witnessed hockey rivals, welcomed local hockey greats, and has served generations. Yet despite its inadequacies, this old building still vibrates with cheers of the victors, remains stained with tears of the vanquished.
But for those who haunted the perimeters of Memorial Stadium prior to the Leafs' arrival, the local game and its die-hard fans guarded this structure. The old burn is bursting with memories, nostalgic images of religious wars between Protestants and Catholics that were settled on neutral territory, both on the ice and in the stands. It's even joked that the description of an atheist back in the 1950s and 60s was someone who didn't care who won a hockey game at the stadium. But more importantly, it moved people.
This building influenced me. You know, this building got a character of its own. It influences other people. And I really feel, you know, boys, the people got to think about it. This building was built in memory of people that were having bullets shot at them, that were being sunk on ships, that were around cannon fire, and all this kind of stuff. Now, great, we don't know nothing about that stuff, but this is a memorial to them.
It's said the long, cold Canadian winters have helped mold the character of our people. The hockey sanctuaries and arenas of combat, like Memorial Stadium, are places where many of our people developed their identities and temperament, traits that would subsequently define their place in time.
I mean, this is a shrine, and I'm not being corny. You know, this is almost like, this is where my life is buried. You know, I mean, this is sort of like, almost like my graveyard of my life.
You had a tremendous sense, a tremendous rivalry, and it was us against them. I mean, it was St. John's against Corner Brook, or St. John's against Buckins, or Grand Falls or Gander, or whoever. Perhaps the biggest rivalry of all was St. John's and the Seabees.
When school was out, I came here. I didn't go home. I came here with my book bag. Sometimes I sat in these old seats here, and we're in the bleachers there, and while the games were going on, and to ask me where I got in, how I got in, I couldn't. I could tell you, but it wasn't the right way.
Possibly the greatest Seabee to visit was George Faulkner, who led Canada to a world championship and is respected as one of the best to grace Memorial Stadium's ice. Visiting the Old Lady by the Lake, he says, was a treat.
Our rink was a new rink, too, in Harbour Grace, but there was no heat in the rink. You know, it was pretty cold. You got to be pretty cold sometimes. And coming in here to play in St. John's, it was a real treat, you know, to come into a new rink, or fairly new rink, and heated and so on, and it was like big time.
And it was a treat for city boys like St. Bond's star player and referee Jack Reardigan, who vividly remembers the characters of Grace Memorial Stadium's ice.
I remember one night refereeing down here, I was going around the boards, and one of the players fell, and I jumped. And I suppose I was about 4 feet in the air, and one of the players came around pretty fast, struck me, and down in a heap I went. And they all got around me, all the two teams, saying they all right. And in particular, this fella came over and started rubbing my hands and everything. He said, Jack, you all right? And I opened my eyes, and who was it? But Pat Dempsey skated the whole length of the ice to see if I was all right. I said, I tell you how I am, Pat. You got 2 minutes for leaving your crease.
Tomorrow, in part 2 of the Grand Old Lady by the Lake, Memorial Stadium welcomes a new tenant. For NTV Sports, I'm Mark Dwyer.